The opponent scoops it up. They didn't know. We didn't have it, folks. We didn't have it. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here. Well, Christmas is nigh upon us, and we are going to be doing something a little bit Christmas related today. And what is that, you might ask? Well, folks, we're going to be giving people gifts today. Indeed, out of the kindness of our heart. What is it that we're looking to give to our opponent? Well, very specifically, one thing. We want to give every single opponent a Demonic Pact. For those of you who are uninitiated, at the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that has not been chosen. Demonic Pact deals 4 damage to any target. You gain 4 life. Target opponent discards 2 cards, and then you draw 2 cards. These are all very, very good things, folks. You want to be doing these things. These are very beneficial for us. However, there is one last one. You lose the game. That if you have to select is a little bit unfortunate, right? So the idea for this deck is we will play Demonic Pact. It will pass around to the beginning of our upkeep, right? We will do one of the 3 good options. Then the next turn, we will do one of the other 3 good options. Then the next turn, we're going to do one of the other 3 good options, leaving only one option that has not yet been chosen, and that is you lose the game. And then we will use the card Harmless Offering, 3 mana sorcery. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. So, we will then give them Demonic Pact, and at the beginning of their upkeep, they only have one option left to choose. Remember, choose one that has not yet been chosen. So, if the other 3 have been chosen, the only option left to choose is you lose the game, and our opponent must select that and choose their own poison, so to speak. So that is the gift we give. Of course, again, Harmless Offering, one of my favorite cards. I really, really love this card on the client. Not the least of which, and probably most of which, is the art. Look at this beautiful little kitten and everything. Very, very cute. But then if you look out of focus of the frame at the kitten's tail, it's got a snake on it, right? So it's like, oh, it's such a cute little kitten. But the art very oddly menacing, especially with the person giving you the offering has a bandage on their thumb already, right? So I love this card. So how are we supposed to facilitate having this? Well, as with any combo, we want ways of finding our combo. So the primary ways of finding our combo are going to be, all right, we're gonna get these out of here. Mazemind Tome and Treacherous Blessing. Treacherous Blessing, when it enters battlefield, draw 3 cards. So it's a 3 mana draw 3. Whenever you cast a spell, lose 1 life. And then when Treacherous Blessing becomes target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. So it's true, this also works well with Harmless Offering. We don't actually get to give this to them, as awesome as that would be, making them lose life for every spell they cast, but at least we can sacrifice it. If we have a Treacherous Blessing and we are unlucky enough to draw like 3 or maybe even all 4 of our Harmless Offerings, you know, sometimes you put cards in your deck, you draw them, right? But then we can at least get this out of there if we were going to die to our own Treacherous Blessing sort of thing. But more importantly, it's a 3 mana draw 3. We're drawing to find our combo pieces, drawing to try and win the game. Similarly, Mazemind Tome, oftentimes I put it in my decks because it basically says on it, over the course of the next several turns, you can draw 4 cards eventually, right? Like, that's awesome. Now, admittedly, you have to pay the iron price for basically every one, but when you're just using extra superfluous mana, it's not onerous. I really like the card. Eventually, you gain 4 life, so in the really aggressive mono red style matchups, it can be very relevant. But more importantly here, a lot of the time, actually drawing the cards is less important. We are trying to scry to find our other combo pieces. A lot of the time, we'll have one or the other, Demonic Pact or Harmless Offering, but might not necessarily have the other half. So just being able to tap to scry one is very, very relevant here. So these are our primary ways of finding the rest of our combo. What else are we doing? Well, folks, the rest of it is stalling out to jank our opponent out of the game. There's really only one other way in the entire deck to win the game, and that is if our opponent just lets us hit them with Bonecrusher Giant 5 times, you know? Which is not very likely. Technically possible, but we're all in on giving our opponent gifts. If we're not giving you the gift of Demonic Pact, we're just not winning the game, right? But in situations where Demonic Pact isn't going to work, where maybe we don't have this, but we have to run it out anyway, we have Doom Foretold. So not only is this very good against board present style decks, where our opponent has to keep sacrificing things, and we're theoretically sacrificing almost gone Mazemind Tomes, we're sacrificing extra Treacherous Blessings, we can also sacrifice Demonic Pacts, right? Also, that is one of the other really good things about the Giant. It also comes down and does block really well, so that's relevant. But it also can come down and keep our our Doom Foretold around if we need to sacrifice an extra permanent, you know. But if our Demonic Pact is looking like, well, shoot, you know, we're gonna have to sacrifice it too soon, what do we do? Well, Doom Foretold can just sacrifice the Demonic Pact, right? And keep us from having to choose the you lose the game option, just in case we don't draw into Harmless Offering, right? So then the rest of it, though, we're running 4 Doomskars, a couple of Day of Judgment, a couple of Wrath of God. Yes, if you have all 4 Day of Judgment, you could use those. If you have all 4 Wrath of God, you could use those. But splitting them up is kind of nice in the 0.1% chance that our opponent, like, is stripping cards out of our hand or something, all of them named the same name, or, you know, that sort of thing. It can matter. So we have those, but the main important thing is we're running 8 main deck board sweepers. It's also possible, folks, these could be the red board sweepers. So theoretically, this could just be in a black-red version, and we could do away with all the Doomskars or Doom Foretold's, Wrath of Gods, all that sort of thing, and just do black-red. But I think that's a different deck. So, considering those things, and just some removal spells, a couple of Spikefield Hazards pad the land count. We're at 22 normally because we only need 4 lands. But padding up 24 can be good. Then little spot removal, that's the deck. So let's come back after some games and do a little more discussing it, shall we? All right, folks, here we are up against Dodolo 99. Good luck, Dodolo 99, and we're going to hang out of this, I guess. Start on Savai Triome, pass the turn, see what happens over there. Opponent has a Plains and a Cleric class. Alright. Well, then we're going to Blood Crypt tap past the turn to Dodolo 99. Plains. Cleric class. Alright, number 2. And Luminarch Veteran. Sure. Okay, well, Godless Shrine tapped. Doomskar Foretold past the turn. Opponent does have the green source. Inconvenient. Soul Warden. Going to gain 3 life. Prosperous Innkeeper. Going to gain 1 billion life. Alright, up to 29. Going to get in for 1. Down to 19. And what do we do here, folks? What do we do? Yeah, I mean, I guess. Let's just Doomskar, I guess. Those are pretty concerning, particularly if our opponent gets to adapt or level up one of their cleric classes. Yeah, sure enough. Oh boy. Well, folks, that's a good one. I guess we are going to just play the Spikefield Cave. Dodolo 99. Probably trying to line up the infinite combo here is my best guess. Sure enough, Righteous Valkyrie, though, coming down. That is a very good consolation prize, all things considered. Voice of the Blessed comes down as a 4/4. Gonna gain some life. It becomes a 5/5. It becomes a 6/6. Let's make our opponent discard that remaining card, just in case. Sure. Then I guess we're going to Doomskar before Voice of the Blessed gets too big. And yeah, Luminarch Veteran likely to come back. No, I was gonna say, I expected them to bring a thing back. They don't have much time here, folks. Alright, so let's draw a couple of cards and draw another card for the turn. Alright. Doom Foretold. Come down. Opponent's got to sacrifice a non-land permanent. Going to be a cleric class to be certain. Indeed. Land. level up cleric class, presumably. Yeah, that's not going to do it, folks. That's not going to do it. Just the Righteous Valkyrie comes down, makes a thing. Well, we're going to deal 4 damage. Sacrifice a Doom Foretold. And we're going to give you a gift, opponent. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, Dodolo. GG. GG. Alright, Fox. Or folks, here we are up against Phantom Fox. And yeah, I mean, we're going to keep this. We need to draw a land, then hopefully Treacherous Blessing will draw us into more lands, but... You know, we've got the Demonic Pact and the Harmless Offering. As long as we draw into our lands, you know, we're doing what we want to do. Oh, no. This deck does not do very well against counterspell style stuff, folks, so. Treacherous Blessing. We drew another Harmless Offering, so that's good, folks. That's very good. What we didn't want is for our opponent, or for us to get down to the end of the game, try and hand our opponent Demonic Pact, and then just lose, right? So, holy cow. We did not draw... We're glad we had this one, folks, because we did not draw another land in any of those cards, right? So that is not great. All right, Containment Priest comes down. This might not be blue-white control, folks. It might be some kind of Blink-style shenanigan. Opponent gets in there with a 2/2 Containment Priest, passes the turn, sure. Well, let's try and resolve a Doom Foretold then, huh? Lose a life from Treacherous Blessing. We're trying to draw out counter magic here, more than anything, right? Our opponent might just be on, like, flash stuff, right? So, Brazen Borrowers, things like that. They might just bounce the Doom Foretold back, right? I'm not sure. All right, Containment Priest. Opponent, Spectral Adversaries. I don't know. I guess they think we're trying to reanimate. So they're trying to protect the Containment Priest. We're fine with this outcome. This is okay. Right? Alright, 2/2 gets in, sure. Let me get rid of the Treacherous Blessing. Demonic Pact. Does this resolve? It does, just straight away. Alright, Phantom Fox. You gonna lose that Containment Priest? They do. Phantom Fox plays the 5th land. And passes. Alright. Fine. Opponent. Discard 2. Actually, no. We were supposed to draw 2 there. Because we need to make sure to hit a land drop both this turn and next turn. So that we can Harmless Offering. I guess if we don't draw... Okay. Then I think this is fine. Alright. I'm gonna leave up Bonecrusher Giant and Heartless Act. Opponent. Trying to decide how to go about things. Elects to pass. And pass again. We're gonna draw 2 this time. Okay. Yeah, enters the battlefield tapped is a fine thing to do. And I think we're also going to get down another Demonic Pact here. Because we're going to try and make them discard cards as well. So that if they do have to save like 2 cards in hand to counterspell both of our Harmless Offerings, they would have had to have had 2 counterspells. But they would also have to have saved 2 counterspells, right? Alright. Of one mind. For damage. Alright, cancel. Wait, I need to make sure. Okay, yeah. Just making sure this was the right one. That opponent, this permanent. They might just bounce it anyway, but that's also another good reason for us to have Demonic Pact down. Okay. Well. That's inconvenient. Okay. That did not go correctly, folks. That was very important. That was very inconvenient. It was very inconvenient. All right. GG, opponent. GG. You got us. Hoisted on my own petard. All right, folks. Here we are up against Tatsi. Good luck, Tatsi. Yeah, we're going to hang on to this. Looking at a Savai Triome. Firebluff Canal, Dragon's Rage Channeler. Well, that's inconvenient. That is a good card from Tatsi. And likely not a deck we're going to interact very profitably with. We don't have a lot to do with Graveyard there, you know. Another Dragon's Rage Channeler. Holy cow. Well, our opponent has had a very, very good hand so far. Mazemind Tome, come on down. We are going to be looking for our combo pieces. All right. Opponent considers, gets to Surveil 1. Goes to the bin. Surveil 1. Goes to the bin. Surveil 1, essentially. Goes to the bin. And draw a card. Yeah, opponent has lots of removal and that sort of thing here. Opponent gets to Surveil 1. Good heavens. Arclight Phoenix goes to the bin. That's not good. Another Arclight goes to the bin. That's really not good. And scry to the bottom and draw a card. It's a blue land. And the opponent Expressive Iterations gets to Surveil 1. No. Our opponent being on the play here. Very, very good for them. We're just screwing around, and they're killing us. We need to be able to interact this turn, I think. So we're going to look for that. Okay. That's fine. I mean, we're not thrilled about it, but we're also not as worried about drawing the card right now because I don't think it's going to matter. Another Dragon's Rage Channeler. Good heavens. Well, I mean, we're glad it comes out this turn. And Delveros Secrets. Okay. Well, actually, they might not be able to get back their Phoenix next turn, since they only have one card in hand. And we're going to scry on upkeep as well. All right. Well, none of those things were our Demonic Pact, so okay. I guess we are going to scry because we might want Treacherous Blessing here. I'm not sure. And really what we just need. Okay, fine, I guess. Because we can Bonecrusher that. Arclight Phoenix. And, you know, kind of kick the can down the road. And continue scrying with Mazemind Tome. Essentially doubling our draw status. Alright. Going to scry. Actually, we need to make sure to set this again. Almost forgot. Yep. And continue scrying. Oh my goodness. Alright, well. Okay. Not quite what we're looking for, folks. That's okay. We've gone through a lot of magic cards. No! Darn it. Alright, well. Treacherous Blessing. We get there. We get there. Okay. Oh, not that one. Setting the stop on the wrong upkeep. That's our upkeep, folks. Or our end step. Please forgive me. So we are going to draw here, I think. Okay, we do get there. All right, well. Demonic Pact. Gonna lose a life for the trouble. And yeah, we're gonna pass the turn for now. We only have 2 black sources currently, so that's a little awkward. We would have Bloodchief's Thirsted and held up Heartless Act if we could have, but we couldn't do any of those things profitably. And sure enough, Tatsi scooping them up because they know they can't get the job done. Feels good, man. I think we got a little bit lucky there, folks, with the opponent having a very, very creature-heavy hand. But, admittedly, early in the game, they sent away a bunch of really powerful spells trying to be greedy and get a bunch of these Arclight Phoenixes. They did, but they also, you know, then couldn't flip their Delvers, and they didn't have a bunch of extra card advantage stuff when they needed it. So, I feel like we got a little lucky. I also think our opponent got a little greedy. So maybe a little combination of those two pays off in our favor. GG, opponent. GG. All right, folks, up against the Kate. Yeah, got started here. I kept the thing, but didn't get the recording properly happening there. My bad. But our opponent started on Plains and a Soul Warden into Voice the Blessed, and yeah, we're now having to worry about this stuff. I think it's quite possible we're just supposed to get rid of the Soul Warden. It's also possible we're supposed to get rid of nothing at all and just foretell the Doomskar. Yeah, alright, I think we're going to do that. It's unlikely our opponent can get Voice of the Blessed to Indestructible this turn, right? So, Doomskar should clean up most of this mess. And we do have Demonic Pact. We still need the Harmless Offering. So, never quite know when that's going to show up. Opponent continuing to commit to the board. Voice of the Blessed growing to a 4/4. Holy cow, folks. Lunarch Veteran. Voice of the Blast going to a 5/5 and then a 6/6, getting in for 7. Well, we're glad we did it the way we chose to. A bunch of their stuff going away. Forest and no Collected Company. Okay. Lunarch Veteran. Luminous Phantom. When it gains life up to 25. Hey, that's a good one. Don't mind if I do. We do have a Doom Foretold now, so we can get rid of this if we need to. We are just going to slam the Demonic Pact. Heck, if we draw into a way of, you know, if we do draw into the Harmless Offering, then this is just really good, right? We're going to make them discard cards while we can. Ooh, Veto. Yeah, alright. Well, Wrath God. Just trying to conserve our life total sum. Opponent goes up to 27, then up to 28. Luminous Phantom. Luminous Phantom. Alright. Draw 2. See what we've got to do. Well, we don't get our Harmless Offering, so we're going to have to Doom Foretold it away. Well, okay. I guess let's do this and scry first. Okay. If it was going to be a... If there was a Harmless Offering on top, then we wouldn't Doom Foretold, but... Alright, Luminous Phantom. Opponent gains life up to 29. The opponent scoops it up! They didn't know! We didn't have it, folks! We didn't have it! Oh, jeez. Nice. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, folks. We are back. We are back. And yeah, that was a wild ride. We had a good time. We had a good time. Honestly, the deck did just fine. I was kind of expecting this to be, you know, maybe not super effective, but we were kind of memeing a little bit, but it did fine. It went 50%. We ended up losing 3 and winning 3. I'm not sure how many of those games are going to show. Again, I try and show you guys games that are interesting. I'm not going to mislead you on what games I win or lose. That's because that's not the way I am. But I also don't want to bore you guys and show you boring games. So I try and get games that you guys actually are going to want to watch, right? So, you know, the deck did fine, especially for a meme. If you just had these cards lying around, it could do good. In the beginning of this match, or I'm sorry, during the deck tech portion, I did discuss maybe potentially doing this in just black-red, and that is very possible. You could do it with these cards. The good thing about that is your mana becomes a lot more simple. Just black and red. And then you could potentially have maybe like Castle Locthwain, so your lands could be drawing you some stuff and everything. In that instance, I think you would want probably some Anger of the Gods and Sweltering Suns, so this could be one of those decks, if that's the direction you were going. But I would also look at probably more ways of getting rid of Demonic Pact. The Feed the Swarm, notably, folks, says destroy a target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. So it does not get rid of our own Demonic Pact, and we could get the Stranded on our own battlefield and die because of it, right? So, you know, that is the primary reason, is that way we have extra ways of getting rid of with Doom Foretold, but it easily could be, and that might open up the door for maybe another angle at winning the game if you were more streamlined and just in, you know, red and black. But that said, I think the deck was a lot of fun, and I don't think it needs to change a ton. Maybe a few more Treacherous Blessing. And maybe go down a Feed the Swarm and maybe a Spikefield Hazard for it or something. Just so that we have more ways of drawing into the combo. I did feel like occasionally we were kind of struggling for that. And it also did turn out that we didn't have enough permanents to sacrifice to Doom Foretold with some regularity. I wouldn't say it was a huge problem, but it did happen occasionally. So just having the Treacherous Blessings to be able to sacrifice Doom Foretold would be advantageous. Alternatively, you could do maybe like the enchantment that deals 2 damage somewhere, but just then you can sacrifice it and scry 2. Something like that, just so you have a few more permanents to sacrifice Doom Foretold if you choose to keep it in this sort of configuration. But that said, I think it was a lot of fun, and I had a great time. So I will catch you all next time. Merry Christmas.